Hello, drivers. Today we're diving into a topic that still sparks heated debates at truck stops and dispatch offices and across industry panels. ELDs versus traditional paper logbooks. I'm Walter Gallen. Welcome to Rolling 18 Podcast.
Welcome to Rolling 18 Podcast. This 40-year veteran is here for anyone wanting to stay up to date in the trucking world. Grab your coffee, hop on board, and let's get on down the road with Walter Gatlin.
This isn't just about technology. It's about control. It's about safety. It's about flexibility. And for many drivers, it's about livelihood. So today we're going to break it down. Why were ELDs mandated? Why did many drivers push back? Why do supporters argue? What critics still say? And whether the industry is actually better off. Let's get into it. First, let's define the basics. For decades, commercial truck drivers tracked their hours of service, or HOS, using paper logbooks. I've been there. I started in 1984. These handwritten logs documented driving time, on-duty time, off-duty time, and sleeper berth time. It was manual, it was flexible, and yes, sometimes it was a little creative. Then came the ELD mandate. 2015, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, known as the FMCSA, finalized a rule requiring most commercial drivers to use electronic logging devices. Now, by December 2017, ELD compliance became mandatory for most interstate carriers. ELDs connect directly to the truck's engine and automatically record drive time, engine hours, vehicle movement, and location. No more estimating, no more rounding, no more fixing a log later, and that's where the argument begins. Now, what are the arguments for ELDs? Let's start with the case for ELDs. Supporters say this is about safety and fairness. Number one, they say preventing fatigue. Driver fatigue has long been major safety concerns. The National Highway Safety Traffic Administration estimates that drowsy driving contributes to thousands of crashes each year. The argument goes like this: if drivers can exceed legal driving hours without it being automatically recorded, then fatigue-related crashes should decrease. Leveling the playing field. Before ELDs, some drivers and companies bent the rules a little bit. We all did. Let's be honest, we called them comic books. Wasn't just a joke term. Companies that ran legally sometimes lost loads to carriers willing to stretch hours. ELDs make it much harder to cheat. Supporters argue that everyone now plays by the same rules. Compliance-focused carriers are no longer undercut. Enforcement is consistent. Number three, reduced paperwork. No more stacks of paper logs, no more messy handwriting, no more math errors. For large fleets, especially, ELD streamline compliance, audits, and record keeping from a management perspective. It's cleaner, faster, and easier to track. Now let's talk about why many drivers still oppose them. And this is where it gets emotional. Number one, loss of flexibility. Paper logs allowed discretion. Let's say you're 20 minutes from home and your 11 o'clock hour expires. With paper logs, some drivers would just adjust slightly to make it home safely. With an ELD, well, the truck shuts down and your legal time to drive is over, period. Critics argue that this rigid enforcement can actually create unsafe conditions, forcing drivers to stop in unsafe areas rather than finishing a short distance. The clock doesn't stop for reality is the reason number two. Traffic, weather, shippers, all taking 4 hours to unload. The 14-hour rule doesn't pause just because you're stuck at a dock. Drivers say ELDs expose a deeper issue. The hours of service rules themselves may not reflect the real-world conditions. The ELD didn't create that rigidity. It just enforces it perfectly. Number 3 is privacy concerns. Some drivers feel constantly monitored. ELDs track their location, their movement, the engine time. While companies argue this improves fleet management, drivers often describe it as surveillance. And what are we Americans all about? Freedom. For independent owner-operators especially, that loss of autonomy hits hard. Number 4, financial impact. When ELDs rolled out, some smaller carriers shut down. Why? Because tighter enforcement reduced the number of miles drivers could legally run. Lower miles often meant lower revenue, especially in operations that had previously stretched hours. Now let's be honest, did ELDs improve safety? This is the million-dollar question. Studies since the mandate have shown mixed results. Some data suggest that hours of service violations decreased. Log falsification dropped dramatically. However, crash data hasn't shown a dramatic long-term reduction directly attributable to ELDs alone. Why? Because fatigue is the only one piece of the safety puzzle. Other factors include infrastructure, driver training, economic pressure, detention time at shippers, compensation models. ELDs solved compliance. They didn't solve systemic industry pressure, and that distinction matters. Now here's the big issue. Here's what often gets missed in this debate. ELDs didn't change the rules, they changed enforcement. The real tension may not be technology versus paper. It's rigid federal hours of service rules versus the unpredictable nature of freight movement. Many drivers argue for more split sleeper flexibility, pause operations during detention, and greater personal discretion. Technology isn't going away, but the conversation is evolving from should we have ELDs to how should the rules adapt to reality. What's the conclusion? So where do we land? ELDs brought transparency, standardization, and accountability, but they also expose structural inefficiencies, compensation challenges, tensions between regulation and autonomy. The debate isn't just about a device plugged into a dashboard. It's about how we balance safety, efficiency, freedom, and fairness in one of the most essential industries in the world. And that conversation is far from over. Now, if you guys want to check it out, go to FMCSA. They have a system set up right now to where you can go in and put in your own comment because they're doing studies right now on what you think. Go to the FMCSA and make a big, huge comment, left or right, up or down, doesn't make any difference. Let them know how you feel about ELDs versus the logbook. I want to thank you guys for listening. If you found this breakdown helpful, share it with another driver, a dispatch, or fleet manager. People who have lived through the transition from paper to digital. Until next time, God bless, be safe, and keep it between the lines, driver.
Thank you for listening to Rollin' 18 Podcast. Please visit Walter's podcast site at rollin18podcast.com or his social media sites such as Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. All links are in the description.